It's doing its thing. All right. Hello. We are live. My name is Paige, and I am here today with Rachel.
Hello.
And I am so excited to share with you. I have been doing videos to help us get to know each other. One of the things that I do love is that we have these Facebook groups, we can communicate, but I am definitely, let's put a face with a name, let's hear a voice, let's get to know each other. So I have been doing some videos on Outschool teachers. I've done some on seasoned teachers, I've done some on new teachers. Rachel, I would say, is fairly new. She told me today she taught her first class in January, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But I wanted to just talk with you today and share with you some more about Rachel and about teaching with Outschool. So Rachel, as we get started, just tell me a little bit about you as a person.
All right. Well, I'm Rachel, and I am a mom and a wife first and foremost, but I have two daughters that are almost grown. We have 18 and 16. So I'm also a homeschool mom. So I graduated my first daughter last May, and my youngest will be a senior next year. And yeah, I really enjoy being at home. I'm kind of a homebody. I'm also an only child, so I'm good at just keeping myself busy and yeah.
So what do you like to do? I think when I interview moms, and I'm a mom myself too, I'm a boy mom, that's the role we give ourselves. We are a mom. So outside of being a mom, Rachel, who are you?
So I guess I would classify myself as one of those jack of all trades, master of none. I like a little bit of everything. I love crafting and sewing and reading and antiquing and shopping and watching movies and decorating and revamping things at the house. Yeah, I like lots of things. I don't have one or two. I have way too much energy. I'm kind of a squirrel kind of a person. So
well, I'm a squirrel too, so that's how we get along. I will tell you, I do follow Rachel on her Instagram channel, and she just made some beautiful bread for Easter. That was so cool to watch. So I do see some of the things that she likes to garden. I've seen that on there too.
I like to bake.
I am very envious because I don't bake. I try to garden. Now living in Colorado, I got to figure it all out again. How do I garden out here?
Yeah, different seasons.
Different for sure. It was 75 this weekend. I'm like, oh, I need to go get plants. My husband goes, no, we'll probably get another snow. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, okay. So we'll wait on the plants a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you have a lot of great interest and a lot of things to fill your time. And when you said you're a homebody, it kind of hit me because I am not a homebody, but COVID has put me in the homebody state, I guess you would say, especially moving during COVID and not being able to meet new people. So this is the way I get to meet new people, is this new way. So we get to have our Facebook friends. So you homeschool, so you have done a lot of teaching, and congratulations on graduating your daughter. That's awesome. So your daughter graduated the same year as mine last year. So we graduated them during COVID. A little bit easier for you because you were at home.
Yeah, we still had a graduation, but there were only 7 kids, and luckily we were able to squeeze it in between quarantine and space them very far away from each other on stage. But so she still had pretty much a normal graduation, which was nice for her, but I know a lot of kids didn't.
Yeah, so just one of those things we've had to deal with. So tell me about why Outschool. When did you decide? Why did you decide?
So as I said, I was a homeschool mom, and after graduating Haley, I decided I needed to do something to prepare myself to be an empty nester and not to like cling on to them with death grips and be okay with them leaving. So I needed to find something else to do. So I went and got a job outside of the home, and it just was not for me. And I did it for almost 2 years. I did a little bit her senior year, and then a little bit before that. Anyways, and it was not for me. And I've always loved teaching. I especially love the little. So even on Outschool, I'm primarily 3-year-olds to kind of max out at 6.
Okay.
And so I just kept thinking about it. I had a few friends that had mentioned it, and then actually it just kind of kept coming up on my feed. And I had taken a Christmas break and was talking to my husband about how I wanted to come home, how I miss teaching, but I didn't know what to do. And so we thought, hey, what is this Outschool? And so I started watching videos. I watched yours. I watched Marianne's. I watched a few other people. And I was just like, maybe I should try it. So we just took a leap of faith and I tried it and fell in love with it pretty much immediately. And like you said, I've only been actually teaching. I had my first class at the end of January, but it's just kind of gone up from there. And it's great. It's given me the outlet to teach and to be involved, but also I'm still at home. So I can go do stuff in my in-between times.
Yes, and schedule when you want, when you want to teach. That's one of the things that I love about it too. So I am along with Rachel in the same. So I became an empty nester this year. Big things happened in my life this year because my youngest son graduated high school. We moved to Colorado. He was in college in South Carolina. Same thing. So who am I going to be now? What is going to fill that void? Because just like you, I mean, they have been my life, and they're boys, so they're a little different than girls. I know, I used to call my mom several times a day. I'm lucky if I get a call once a week. So I needed to find something for Paige. So I understand exactly what you're saying. And it fills that need for me. So I can still be mom when they need me. Mm-hmm. I can still be the wife when they need me, but I can still do things that Paige wants to do when she wants to do them as well. So you got started, and I love that. You watched some of the videos that we have out there. And I mean, really, those videos are out there because we're teachers. We like helping. We like showing people how to do things and sharing as well. So I'm hopeful that they were helpful to you as you were going through that process. So one of the questions I was going to ask you too is, so when you started researching, you said you looked at some videos. What other kind of things did you do to help you get started?
Well, I took some time just to kind of think what would I want to teach? Like what do I want to do? What I knew I like littles. And so was there even a spot or a place to teach littles? And just kind of trying to, I know a lot of people figure out your niche, figure out what and where, and where you can excel. So I just started thinking about that and just kind of started making a list of what classes am I interested in teaching, what could I take, and then just deep dive into what would I not get burnt out doing, what would I feel like drudgery. I don't want to get on, and they're little, they can tell if you don't want to be there, they're going to know. So you have to make sure you love it. So just made lists and tried to organize and figure out what I wanted to teach. And spent time doing that. And then also diving back into, it had been a long time since I had been with littles, diving back into the what and how that I hadn't thought about for so many years of, phonics and early reading skills and early math skills, and just kind of getting my brain into thinking that way again, that I hadn't for quite a few years.
So it sounds like you did take some time. You didn't just jump in.
I did and I didn't. It was Christmas break. We started thinking about it. And then end of January was when I was in the first classes. So there was a few, 2-3 weeks. Of course, we were quarantined over Christmas break too. So we were home. So I had a lot of hours that I dove in and figured it out.
And dove in. And that's what you have to do, I think. I mean, there is a lot of it. And a lot of I said, you just have to do it. Mm-hmm. You just have to dive in, get your feet wet, dive in. But when you're diving in, you have to make sure even that very first experience is a great experience, because you don't ever know where you're going with those learners. You don't know if that's you need it to be a great review. So even though you're diving in, planning it out, making sure that you have all the steps out there, because we do want to make it a great experience for them. But you're going to evolve. Are you better now than you were in that first class?
Yes, for sure.
Yes. And even for myself, I am planning some summer classes, and I've revamped some of the classes that I've been doing for the whole year just to add even more value to them and to make them a little more interactive with the students. So if you were going to tell someone that is just starting out, where would you direct them? What would you say?
Well, I definitely think just reaching out and gleaning from other people. I've learned so much from the village, and then the other trainings that I've done with you guys, and just watching other YouTube videos, and just gleaning information from people that know more than I do about what we're doing is so helpful. And then there's also, yes, Outschool Teacher Village. I just refer to it as the village.
I know it is the village because it takes the village, right? Yeah, it's
the Teacher Village. Yes. And then just figure out what it is that you love, because if you love it, it'll come across, and the kids will feed off of your energy. Especially depending, I mean, all kids, but if you're with littles, they're high energy. You have to keep them, they've got attention spans that are this big, so you need to keep them entertained. But just keep reaching out and keep thinking, what is it that you can deep dive into to expand a topic, so that it's not just necessarily a one-time class that you have content for, but that you can build on and make it an ongoing class, since those are so popular right now, or make it a camp, or make it a multi-day, or make it one class that then feeds into another class. So you just kind of got to keep thinking, but also just do it, so that you're out there, you're getting used to it, you get more comfortable being in front of the kids and talking. And then don't be afraid to fail. Like if you have a class that's a total flop or nobody signs up for it, then just revamp it,
Yes.
change a little bit.
I love that you said that. Don't be afraid to fail. But before we came on, Rachel was sharing with me that she is still trying to throw things at the wall. We call it throwing spaghetti at the wall. I have a lot of classes out there that, I shouldn't say a lot, but I have several classes out there that I started, and they have been archived because they didn't do very well, or maybe they did. Some of them did do okay, but I didn't love them. I didn't get excited to come and teach them. What I'm teaching now, I'm excited to teach. I look forward to seeing those students. And so I think that does really come across as well. And when you're teaching those classes. So do find what you love, but do some research. I know Rachel said she was doing research. Do some research. See what you love and what's popular, what is selling on Outschool, because just because you love it doesn't necessarily mean there is a need for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I when people say, yes, try it. I'm not going to tell you don't try it, but if it doesn't succeed right away, don't feel like you failed. Just revamp it and move on. There are so many students. I don't know. I need to look up what the current number of students are on the Outschool platform. And even though kids are going back to school, it continues to grow because more and more people know about it. And you mentioned as well, so you did some of the training. So I wanted to just touch on that a little bit. So the Outschool Village admin team, which is myself, Marianne, Brooke, and Kelly. So we started about a year ago. So we're not like these hugely seasoned teachers that have been teaching on Outschool for several years. But what we have learned, we do try and share. And so we have done these different sessions, workshops, things like that. And you signed up for some of those. So, and that is something people ask me a lot too. So why aren't you just giving this information away for free? And my answer for that is, do you teach on Outschool for free?
Exactly.
So I don't mean that in a negative way, but it is also of giving of our time. And would you say, and the things that you've done so far, were they worth the value you invested in them?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think too, it's twofold. You are investing in us, but we also have to care enough about ourselves to invest in ourselves. And if you're going to go anywhere for any sort of training, or if you're going to go see a doctor, if you're wanting to glean information from people who know more than you do, chances are you don't really want somebody who's just going to do it for free. Like, if you're going to go to a professional, you want to learn, you want to grow, you need to care enough to invest in yourself. It's important. And you are giving of your time. And it's more than just what you see on camera or for that training. We all know, we might teach for 10 hours, but how many hours did it take to prep for that? Class? There's a lot more that goes into it than what you just see on a training video. But everything I've taken has been so much just worth it. I get so much more out of it, I feel like, than I financially put into it. I mean, that's what helped me. So the last training, the marketing training I did with you, that's what took me from still working at managing my warehouse, which is what I did prior to Outschool. It took me from there to 2 weeks later being able to quit there and do Outschool 100% and be back home. So it was life-changing for me, that particular training. So it's well worth it. It's well worth it.
Yay. And I will tell you, so Rachel was in the marketing training, and she and I have been corresponding a little bit, trying to give her some help and just some advice, just being a little further in the game than she is. And when I got that email from you that you had decided, you know what, I'm quitting, I'm doing it. And so tell them, have you replaced your income?
Yes. So Paige and I were talking about this. So do not take this advice from my beginning. My first month was January, and the only thing I taught, I think I only had one class, but was trying to get students and wanted some reviews. I think I gave the majority of the class away for free. Don't do that. So in January, I made 50 cents. That was my big woohoo. But now, at the end of March and even going into April, I make more than I did at the warehouse. And even just this little tiny part of April, I've already made more than I did the entire month of March. So it's definitely growing. So yeah, it's been great to go from trying to split my time 2 ways to now just being able to focus on Outschool.
Yay! So that is tremendous. And we were talking about, and I kind of had to laugh when she told me, and I shouldn't laugh, but she said her first pay was 50 cents. And I'm like, exactly how did you get to 50 cents? She's still not really sure how she got to 50 cents. Somebody she charged $1 something, maybe. I don't know. So what is 50 cents is 30% of what? That's what we have to figure out. I'm not a math person, so please don't ask me to figure that out.
Preschoolers, that's hard.
But she has been able to replace what she did, and that's the beauty that I do love about Outschool, is that if you put the time and energy into it, it will come back to you.
Yes.
Did it happen overnight? No, it didn't happen overnight. It took a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. And now Rachel's preparing. We were talking a little bit about the fall. So she's getting ready. What's going to happen for the fall? So I love hearing these stories. The reason I want to share these is because they're also motivational, because there are people like Rachel that started out in their first month, they might have made 50 cents. I shouldn't say that. Or maybe they haven't even gotten their first learner yet, but you can. And there are ways, and there are ways to do that by reaching out to people like Rachel said. Now, Rachel's ahead of somebody now. So she's got value and information that somebody that's just starting out doesn't have. So reach out to people that can help you along the journey. And she called it. So we have a group called the Outschool Teacher Village, and I ran it across there a minute ago. I'll run it across here really quick. I love this little program where you can do this. I think that's really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. But we call it the village because, and I actually named this group, and because I do believe in life, it takes a village. It takes a group of people to help us get through life, and finding that village. And I think in our Outschool Teacher Village as well, it's just a very kind, encouraging, and caring group. If there's drama, we get rid of the drama pretty quickly. We're adults, we don't want a lot of that drama, so we try and get rid of that. But we also try and offer a lot of value. We provide free advice in there as well. We answer questions. For those of you who don't know, when Rachel said there's things that go on in the background, So there's 4 of us admin. We take 1 week a month, and that's our 1 week out of the month. And that is our week to kind of monitor the Facebook group. That allows us to chime in on questions. I may tag Marianne if it's something I know that she knows more on than I do. I'll tag her and she'll answer those questions too. And I love that our group answers so many of the questions now too. That makes the admin work very easy for us. So where do you see yourself now going with your Outschool journey? What's your next set of goals?
I really want to keep growing. So right now I have a few of my preschool, early kindergarten classes, and I'm also tutoring one-on-one, which I love. I love my tutoring. I would like to fill up, get more full classes. It's so exciting when you get that email. It's congratulations, your classes.
Yes.
So I'd love to build up more classes. But I will say for those new teachers, always teach that one student. Some of my kids that I still have, I taught just them for more than 1 week, and now they take multiple classes from me. So I just want to keep growing, keep diving into my ideas. I really want to learn more of the technology, which I'm super excited about the 4-week boot camp that's coming up. I want to add some of that technology in to grow and just to add some of that in. I've heard the words, I've heard Manicam, I've heard boom cards, I've heard different things, but I don't know anything about it. So I'm really excited about that.
I'm excited about that too. So the course itself, I know all about because I helped develop that and the girls. Now I will tell you, when we did our first workshop, the Next Level Summit in December, I actually walked away from that with so much value myself that I learned from Marianne Brooke and Kelly that I went and implemented right away. And it changed some things for me too. So we learned from each other. And I think that's definitely really cool. But Rachel did just mention too, we do have a training that is coming up. And if you're watching this down the road, you can hit the link below too. We may still have it going on at some point. The Next Level Outschool Teacher 4-week boot camp. So in this boot camp, we are going to be really trying to fill in from A to Z what you need to do to find success at Outschool. And one of the things she talked about was the technology. So I don't use technology in my classroom, but I really want to. But I'm the over 50 age, and so learning that is a little daunting to me sometimes. So I'm so excited because that is going to be a part of it. And the boom cards are, kids ask me in my classroom about the boom cards, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'll need to bring some boom cards in there. So I'm excited to learn that too. So adding technology. So that's one of my goals too, Rachel. So we'll have to hold each other accountable on that to see. Who gets boom cards in their class first?
Right, I know.
So we can do that. All right, I see that. Let me see, hold on a minute. Let me go back to the comments a minute. So I don't know if you're still on with me, Giselle. And I don't know, I'm never sure exactly what to call you. You have to write your name down here. It says Aunt Giselle, but I always want to call you Giselle. So I don't know if that's your real name or not. Do you have any questions? Thank you for joining us. If you are watching and you have questions, if you have some questions for Rachel as a new Outschool teacher, please post them on there. You can also find us both in the Outschool Teacher Village. So if you want to reach out, you can do that too. And tell me how you say your last name though, Rachel. That's something
Shuffle.
Shuffle.
Just like shuffling a deck of cards is basically the easiest way to pronounce it. It's German, and I don't even think I say it totally correct, but as I told my husband, it's my name, so I can say it however I want. So
yes, that's right. Because I would have definitely mixed, I would have said shuffle with an E sound, not a U sound. Do you say U sound or
I say sound? Yeah, kind of a U sound. Yeah.
Okay. U.
Yeah. My husband's a teacher as well, and all of his kids call him chef or shuffle, or back in the day when that every day I'm shuffling song came, that was popular.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So does your husband teach on Outschool?
He does not. He does not. He teaches in the public school system. So he is a high school teacher.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of need for some of the high school things on Outschool too. Yes. Definitely. So there's a need for a lot of those things, because even as a homeschool parent, and I'm a teacher, an elementary school teacher too. So there are things I wouldn't have been able to teach my students, which I'm sure that you found across the board too,
Yeah.
when they reach a certain level. And that's where I think Outschool really comes into play to really help them and do that. So that's cool. So 2 teachers in your house.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So before we jump off, is there anything else, Rachel, that you would want to share? Some words of wisdom?
I guess I would just say for anybody who hasn't taken the leap to do it, who might just be kind of looking in the background, to just do it. Just, you can get on Zoom either on an app yourself, or there's a place in Outschool that you can practice if you don't feel like you can totally orchestrate a class by yourself. Get on and practice, but just book your first class, put it out there. Just, you got to start somewhere. And then I would also encourage, if you need more growth, you need more encouragement, sign up for the boot camp, grow from there, and just give it a try, because you will probably be successful. You'll probably surprise yourself with how much success you can have and how much fun it is, because it really is a lot of fun.
Oh, it's so much fun. I mean, I think one of the hardest parts for me is that I feel like I'm part of their little family, especially because I do some one-on-one students as well. My one-on-one students, like I see them all the time, but I don't know their family. And typically when I used to tutor, I knew the family, I'd had communications, I had talked with them a lot. So that part is a little bit harder for me. I love the ongoing classes because you do get a lot of those repeat learners that you get to learn their personality.
I love the ongoing classes. They're super fun.
Yes. So, all right, guys. So if there's nothing else, I'm going to let Rachel get her day back. But I appreciate you, Rachel, for coming on. And I'm so excited to keep cheering you on for your success. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye, everybody. See you in the Outschool Teacher Village. Bye.